voice of God. I bet you didn't know her name was actually Libby. Thank you, Libby. Hello, everyone. Welcome. And thank you all for being here tonight. In person and virtually. We have a very large audience who's actually streaming live virtually via YouTube to participate in this inspiring and extraordinary event, really, for brain disease research. My name is David Dodick. I'm the chair of the board of directors of the American Brain Foundation, and it's an honor to be the master of ceremonies here tonight. It excites me that so many people are here gathered to support brain disease research and the pursuit of life without brain disease. We are here for people living with brain disease, the people who we've lost to brain disease, and the people who love them. Realizing our vision without brain disease starts with research. That's why 8,000 plus neurologists are gathered here in Seattle this week. It's because we want to learn what the latest research is and how we apply that to our patients. At the heart of our investment in research is the guiding principle of cure one, cure many, expressing our belief that when we find the cure for one brain disease, we'll find cures for many others. This uniquely empowers us to identify the threads, if you will, that connect one brain disease to another. This philosophy also allows us to champion collaboration among researchers across subspecialty disciplines and collaborate with other brain disease-related charities, of which we have many partners, and we're very proud and honored, because all of that collaboration will benefit everyone. So by supporting the brightest minds in brain disease research, we can turn the idea of a future without brain disease into a reality. And we've heard that beautifully tonight in our reception from Dr. Steve Hauser, who you're going to hear from in a little while. Every time you donate tonight, you pave the way for more research. The only way we'll discover treatments, prevention, and cures is through that research. We have so much planned for tonight. I'm so glad you're here, including appearances from our Ambassador Award winner and New York Times bestselling author, Susannah Cahalan. Our Scientific Breakthrough Award winner, Dr. Stephen Hauser. And our Public Leadership in Neurology Award winners, Seth Rogen and Lauren Miller Rogen. I want to take a moment to recognize our Commitment to Cures sponsors for their generous support here for us to be here tonight. A huge thanks goes out to our leading sponsor, the NFL Players Association. The NFL and the NFLPA are well represented here tonight, and we appreciate their presence to help us tackle this big problem. Come on, stick with me, folks. That's as funny as this neurologist is going to get tonight, so it's going to be a long night. Lauren, you can tell Seth he has nothing to worry about. I know he's been sweating it. And also a special thanks to our founding sponsor, the American Academy of Neurology, who actually started the American Brain Foundation back in 1992. So I like to think we've come a long way in 30 years. I also want to thank our discovery sponsors, Electronic Arts, DraftKings, Fanatics, Gates Ventures, the National Football League, One Team Partners, and Winston & Strawn, LLP. I want to thank our research sponsors, Amgen and Genentech. And finally, thanks to our investigator sponsors, NextGen Hyperbaric, the Cleveland Clinic, and the Mayo Clinic. I also want to give a special thanks to our foundation's board of directors. This is a committed and creative group of leaders, neurologists, humanitarians, philanthropists, for whom brain disease is personal and for whom advances in research is a priority. It's been incredible to work with this group over the past few years. And what I would like to do is, would the members of the American Brain Foundation Board of Directors please stand up so that we can recognize you. Sorry to disrupt your dinner. So let's get started. I'd like to introduce now Dr. Lenora Higginbotham, a fellow alum of the American Brain Foundation's Next Generation Research Grants Program, a program that each year funds and supports early career researchers investigating a broad spectrum of diseases. Like Dr. Higginbotham, I too received a grant from the American Brain Foundation, and that helped kickstart my career just a few years ago, actually. And everything we raise tonight goes to funding more amazing researchers like Dr. Higginbotham. So please join me in welcoming her to the stage to tell you more about what this program means to her and for her career. Dr. Higginbotham.
Thank you. It is such an honor to be here. It was nearly 2 years ago that I was awarded a clinical training research scholarship by the American Academy and the American Brain Foundation. This invaluable 2-year grant could not have come at a better time. Like so many early career neurologists, I was beyond worried about how to gain additional funding for my research efforts. I was actually fresh out of Movement Disorders Fellowship. I had a strong desire to build a biomarker research program for Lewy body dementia. I was motivated personally and professionally as I watched not only numerous patients, but also my own grandmother really struggle with the relentless cognitive decline, psychosis, and frankly, sheer demoralization of this disease. However, while motivation can be limitless, research funding most certainly is not. I had the utmost faith in my mentors and our cutting-edge proteomic techniques, but I knew I was not yet ready to apply to the multi-year federal grants offered by the NIH. So I was really excited to see an early career award specific for Lewy body diseases and really jumped at the opportunity to apply. I can't really overstate that the support I've received from this award has been invaluable to the growth and success of my research over the past 2 years. It has provided me with the time and resources to truly immerse myself in my mentor's laboratory and begin applying the advanced protein measurement techniques that they had already optimized to some extent in Alzheimer's disease to Lewy body dementia. And because of this opportunity, I've been able to make considerable strides towards defining global protein changes in the brains of those with Lewy body dementia and developing biomarkers that are reflective of these complex changes. But I guess most importantly, I was able to gain the knowledge, expertise, and preliminary data that I needed to secure long-term federal funding. While I don't have time to really extensively detail our work, I do believe that biomarker efforts like ours, centered on large data sets that offer windows into global biological changes across disease, really have the power to change how we define and treat dementia. We as a field are learning more and more that, our biological and our clinical definitions of Alzheimer's disease, dementia with Lewy bodies, frontotemporal dementia, and a number of other cognitive disorders are frankly just too simple and inadequate, and they fail to capture the complex heterogeneity and overlapping nature of these conditions. And really, to successfully treat these conditions, treat dementia, we will need biomarker tools that extend beyond 1 or 2 proteins or single biological systems or even just one type of measurement or modality to encompass the complexity and individuality of these disorders. And then only then will we be able to develop the most effective and precise treatments for these devastating conditions. I cannot overstate how extremely grateful I am to be a part of this mission and attribute much of this opportunity to my ABF training scholarship. And it is truly organizations like the American Brain Foundation that are critical to fostering innovative research and giving early career neurologists like me a chance to not only advance our goals, but also promote life-saving treatments and cures. Thank you. I'm going to hand it off now to Andi Imholte, Ambassador of the Mission.
Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andi Imholte, and I know Ambassador of a Mission sounds like kind of a strange, ambiguous title. I am an auctioneer by profession, and so tonight we are going to be doing, not having an auction where I'm talking fast, but we are going to have an opportunity shortly for you to help support research. We've had opportunities over the years to come together in rooms just like this, and in a few minutes after dinner, I'm going to come back up here and we're going to really try to make a real difference. We're going to hear some stories, we're going to share some laughs, we're going to share some hope, and maybe shed some tears. But we're going to come together as a community to make a real difference. And we can't do it without each and every one of you. But to do that, and so that we're ready to do that, on the backs of your programs is a number, a bidder number, as it were, for an auction. And we're just going to make sure everybody has one. Can you just hold that number up real high? We're going to have the photographer turn around. We're going to take some photos. Everyone smile really big. Take your mask off if it's still on. Big smiles. We're going to take some photos. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the least expensive all night it will be to hold this number in the air. You're going to really want to wave it around because it's going to get more expensive as the night goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, this organization means a great deal to me. I'm also the creative director at the American Academy of Neurology, so I love being here. I love seeing our members be a part of this amazing organization, so I'm really excited to be coming back up here later tonight. Have a great night. Enjoy your dinner, and we'll be back soon. Thanks, everybody.
Good evening to all of you joining us virtually. My name is Dr. Alex Porter. I'm a neuro-oncologist at the Mayo Clinic, and I serve on the board of the American Brain Foundation. I am so excited to bring this incredible event to everyone at home tonight. We thought this would be a great opportunity to connect with our remote attendees to share the American Brain Foundation's mission and impact in more detail. Whether you're dressed in your finest gala wear or cozying up in your PJs, we have a fun segment planned for you. Take a moment to let us know where you're watching from in the chat box. Commitment to Cures is the American Brain Foundation's annual fundraiser that supports and celebrates breakthroughs in brain disease research. Later in the live program, you'll hear extraordinary stories from people living with brain disease, receive updates on our latest research studies, and meet special guests, including actor and comedian Seth Rogen and Lauren Miller Rogen. At the American Brain Foundation, we believe that life without brain disease is possible. Let's take a closer look at who we are and what we do. Grab your favorite snack or beverage, and let's get started.
Brain disease affects 1 in 6 people, nearly 55 million Americans. Brain diseases like Alzheimer's disease, multiple sclerosis, epilepsy, stroke, and hundreds more. The American Brain Foundation brings the public and researchers together in our mission to cure brain diseases and disorders. Backed by 36,000 neurologists from the American Academy of Neurology, we are committed to providing education, understanding, hope, and compassion. The American Brain Foundation invests in research of the whole brain, knowing brain diseases are interrelated. We believe that when we cure one of these diseases, we will cure many. Imagine life without brain disease. Join our fight at www.americanbrainfoundation.org.
More than a motto, Cure one, cure many, drives everything we do. It highlights the understanding that finding a cure for one brain disease will lead to greater understanding and cures for other brain diseases. For example, inflammation of the brain is found in many degenerative diseases, including multiple sclerosis and Parkinson's disease. Regulating neuroinflammation could lead to improved treatments for many different diseases. Research shows that Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and Lewy body dementia have similar causes, including abnormal protein deposition, impaired brain metabolism, brain cell death, and inflammation. So advancements in one has implications for the others. Migraine and epilepsy involve abnormal brain electrical activity and aura. Prevention in one may lead to prevention in the other. These examples, among others, are why it's so important to invest in a whole brain approach, supporting innovative studies across a spectrum of brain diseases and disorders. This is only possible through the incredible partnership between the American Brain Foundation and our founder and research partner, the American Academy of Neurology, the world's largest professional association of neurologists and neuroscientists, allowing us to find links and break new ground in research and application. Let's take a closer look at this incredible partnership.
At the American Brain Foundation, our mission is to bring researchers and donors together to cure brain diseases and disorders. We believe a life without brain disease is possible, and we won't stop until we get there. Founded by the American Academy of Neurology, we're supported by over 36,000 member neurologists and neuroscience professionals from every corner of the globe across all areas of brain disease. Together, we focus on the whole brain to make a difference for everyone living with these brain diseases and disorders. Through this partnership, the American Brain Foundation helps fund the American Academy of Neurology's world-renowned research program, providing opportunities for groundbreaking research that will unlock the door to treatments for previously incurable neurological disease. Working together, we've supported over 260 researchers and have launched research careers that have gone on to make major contributions in the field, leading to advanced treatments for patients. And we're just getting started. We're moving closer each day towards life without brain disease, and we want you to join us. What better way to invest in the fight against brain disease than to team up with the world's largest brain trust of neurologists? You can support this partnership and help bring the neurologic community one step closer to life without brain disease by donating today.
We are incredibly grateful for the valued partnership between the American Brain Foundation and the American Academy of Neurology. Investing in a wide range of research advancements is one of our central priorities, and it's one that we accomplish by bringing researchers and donors together. Each has a critical role to play in the fight against brain disease. Let's hear from a few researchers and supporters that believe strongly in the American Brain Foundation's innovative approach and the need to fund brain disease research.
So ABF holds a very special place in my heart because actually I would say ABF and the AAN were what really launched my career. I had this idea for a study where we could actually study these babies after they were diagnosed. And it was the ABF and the AAN's Clinical Research Training Fellowship that funded that first study in early markers of autism and tuberous sclerosis.
I really like the approach of the American Brain Foundation. The public may think that Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, Lewy body dementia, Lou Gehrig's disease are all separate, but they're all degenerative diseases. And what's causing one disease is very similar to what's causing the other disease. And by funding research, not for a specific disease, but for a category of diseases, will allow us to more quickly develop treatments for these disorders.
I have tremendous confidence that we have a huge treasure of scientists and neurologists who are utilizing the funds that we have in extremely wise ways to make important progress in neurologic disease.
Everything that makes me who I am really comes from the miracle of the brain, and that really the soul of of myself all comes from my memories. And so that's really what drew me into wanting to be a part of what the American Brain Foundation is doing.
It's ironic that Robin, one of the most well-known people in the world, ended up with one of the most little-known diseases in the world. And perhaps his greatest legacy will be the awareness that he can bring to Lewy body disease and all brain disease.
I think one of the comments I would make to donors is that I too am a donor. I think I'd encourage you to give and give more, motivate others to give, because I think that together we can make a huge difference.
And I think for a donor, sort of what I think about it when I give to ABF, and I think the same thing for others, thank you for giving to this cause, because by giving to this cause, keep giving to your individual causes, that's very important, but by giving to this overarching cause, you are hopefully moving that needle even more along and allowing this horrible disease that's affecting so many people. Everybody knows someone who's been touched in some way by brain disease, and you individually can make a difference by making this organization stronger so it can really get out and do that good work that it's planned to do.
Working together is the only way to win against brain disease. The American Brain Foundation's Cure One, Cure Many program provides large-scale funding to the world's best researchers whose work cuts across multiple brain disease areas. This year, the Cure One, Cure Many Award is providing $3 million in funding toward improving the diagnosis of Lewy body dementia. This investment is made possible through our partnership with the Alzheimer's Association, the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research, and the American Academy of Neurology. Let's learn more about the program and this year's award, and hear from some of the families impacted by Lewy body dementia.
It was very unsettling to see a person who had always been incredibly stable suddenly in a disorganized state of disarray. It is often misunderstood and misdiagnosed.
There's something like 40 different symptoms that can be part of a Lewy body dementia manifestation.
The delusions and hallucinations were for us the hallmark of Lewy body dementia.
My father's onset was so rapid and sudden, we didn't notice anything out of the ordinary with him until February 17th, 2017, and it just hit. He basically broke.
My father never cried in all the years I knew him, and he burst into tears and looked at me and my mother and said, "Why is this happening to me?"
We realized that, we wouldn't be getting, our dad back. There's a whole lot of trauma and lost opportunity that comes with not having that diagnosis.
And I felt a lot of those moments were lost because we were spending our plateaus and our peaceful moments frantically trying to manage what was next.
An extra year, an extra 2 years, an extra 5 years, an extra 10 years, it's all worth it.
Early diagnosis really leads to a better quality of life, not just for the victim of Lewy body dementia, but also for the families and loved ones who care for those people.
That's what families want. That's what we all want. And it's attainable.
In addition to the Cure One, Cure Many Award, another important initiative here at the American Brain Foundation is our Next Generation Research Grant Program. We provide funding to the best and brightest emerging researchers to give them the opportunities to conduct innovative studies that propel the field of brain disease research forward to new heights. Nurturing these young, brilliant minds is critical, as they hold the key to the future of brain disease research and cures. In my own career, I've benefited from the investment of others to help advance the science and reduce suffering. Through our next generation research grants, the American Brain Foundation is able to launch groundbreaking studies. However, we are only able to fund a quarter of potential projects. Imagine what we could accomplish if we could fund 4 times as much research. By supporting the American Brain Foundation, you are investing in programs like our next generation research grants, which allow us to fund more innovative studies. As long as brain disease exists in the world, we'll be here, fighting tirelessly to find cures. Thank you to all of our virtual visitors out there. I'm glad we got to spend this time together. Please stay tuned as the in-person event will resume shortly. We have more amazing stories, special guests, and updates to come. And please consider donating to help fight brain disease. Every little bit counts.
Okay, so let's keep this going. As you heard, the Next Generation Research Grants Program is really a vital program for the American Brain Foundation. Since its inception, we have been able to support more than 280 researchers to the tune of about $34 million. And 85% of these young researchers have gone on to secure national funding. So it's been a very successful program. Unfortunately, 75% of the worthy applications that we receive actually go unfunded, which is really unfortunate. We leave a lot of science on the table, actually. So the good news is that tonight we can help change that. So please be sure to make your donations tonight, and you'll hear more from Andi through the evening. And speaking of contributions, I'd like to recognize one of our board members and the chair of this event tonight, Sean Sansiveri. So, Sean, could you come up here, please? So I've known Sean for about 10 years. He came to the Mayo Clinic, and I ran the concussion program there, and he came to see what we were doing and to shake things up. And I realized very quickly he's a force of nature. But I think he really outdid himself this year. As the chair of this event here tonight, Sean single-handedly engaged 27 sponsors and by himself raised $465,603. As General Counsel and Head of Business Affairs for the National Football League Players Association, he's led the charge in supporting research and in advocating for policy changes to protect athletes from traumatic brain injury and the sequelae that they can experience. And he marshaled support from the football community to support research through tonight's event. So as the chair of the board, I get this distinct privilege and honor of actually selecting someone to give the board's chair award to, and I can think of nobody better this year than Sean Sansiveri. So we'll now present our next award of the evening, the Ambassador Award. The Ambassador Award honors an individual or group outside of the medical profession that is helping to raise awareness for brain disease. Here to present the American Brain Foundation's Ambassador Award is Dr. Souhel Najjar. Dr. Najjar is the Senior Vice President and Executive Director of the Neurology Service line at Northwell Hospital, and he's chair of neurology at North Shore University Hospital, Lenox Hill Hospital, Long Island Jewish Medical Center, Staten Island University Hospital, and he's also chair and professor at the Zucker School of Medicine. That's a lot of chairs, Dr. Najjar. That's enough for a dinner. He was also featured in the New York Times best-selling novel Brain on Fire, a memoir written by Susannah Cahalan, a journalist and reporter from the New York Post. And Dr. Najjar diagnosed Mrs. Cahalan with NMDA receptor encephalitis, a rare neurological condition that can cause a whole host of neurological symptoms. And this brain disease actually is suspected of being an underlying cause of some of the historical counts of demonic possession. It's a rare disorder, and back when he made this diagnosis of Mrs. Cahalan, it was really basically unheard of and unknown at the time. So Dr. Najjar, it's a huge pleasure to have you here with us tonight. Welcome.
Thank you very much for this generous introduction. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the American Brain Foundation, it is my distinct honor to present Susannah Cahalan with the Ambassador Award for her powerful memoir presented in the New York Times best-selling book, Brain on Fire, My Lost Month of Madness, that was soon adapted into a Netflix film. Susannah's book and the film raised tremendous awareness and brought a lot of attention to the field of autoimmune brain disorders in general, and anti-NMDA receptor encephalitis in particular. Susannah's inspiring story is one of hope, optimism, courage, and resilience. Her story has touched many hearts and saved many lives simply by raising awareness about that disease. Indeed, one of my colleagues, chair of neurology from Dartmouth, reminded me about one physician 10 years ago I saw after she was placed on psychiatric floor for disease diagnosed to be autoimmune encephalitis, and that patient became aware of that because of Susannah Cahalan book. Not only that, Susannah became the voice of those with autoimmune encephalitis who cannot advocate for themselves. And most importantly, her voice has transcended the boundaries of many disciplines in neurosciences, bridged the gap between neurology, psychiatry, and neuroimmunology. After all, it's all one brain. Her story underscores the continued need to support neuroscience research for a better understanding of the brain in health and illness. Susannah, thank you for all you do. On a personal note, I'm privileged to be your physician. I'm honored to be your friend. Please join me at the podium to accept your award.
Wow. Well, gosh, there's been a lot of improbable moments in my life since my diagnosis, but tonight might actually take the cake. The man who saved my life just gave me an award. I feel like maybe I should be giving him the award. So, Souhel, I love you, and I literally would not be here without you. So I am so moved to be here with you all today, and I want to give a warm, sincere thank you to the American Brain Foundation for this incredible honor. I'm so thrilled to be in a room full of people who are working towards improving the lives of people living with brain disease. Being here right now in stage in front of all of you would have seemed completely impossible when I was diagnosed with autoimmune encephalitis in 2009. When I left the hospital, I could not read, I could not write, I could not barely stand on my 2 feet. I had to actually use a sippy cup because I couldn't swallow liquids on my own. Dr. Najjar estimated at the time that I could perhaps regain 80% of my cognitive ability, and my parents were thrilled. But I think about that 20%. I think about it a lot. And I know I would not have been able to write Brain on Fire with 20% of myself missing. And I know I wouldn't be here right now. I still don't know really how to find the words to talk about how lucky I've been. In light of receiving this award, I've gotten the chance to think about the last decade of my life and all the living that I've gotten to do. I returned to work. I wrote a book. I helped start a foundation. I traveled around the world giving grand rounds and talking to other people with this condition. I got married. I gave birth to twins. I wrote a second book. Thanks to the advancements in neurology, specifically the work of Dr. Joseph Dalmau, who actually first spoke about these diseases at this very conference back in 2005, and of course the amazing clinical work of Dr. Souhel Najjar, who recognized the zebra during a time when most people went misdiagnosed. I got to do so much living. And I think that's why we're here today, to make sure that all people with neurological diseases, with brain illnesses, get to do as much living as I've gotten to do. That has been my goal with the publication of my book and the work I've done spreading the word about this condition. And what has perhaps been most astounding to me is the life that my book has had outside of me. It has inspired people to write their own books and to share their own stories. It's comforted parents when they're spending time with their children in hospitals seeking care. And it's been with people during the lowest points of their lives, and I can say with complete pride and a little bit of astonishment that my book has saved lives. So much advancement has been made in such a short period of time since my diagnosis in 2009, when I became the 217th person ever to have this condition. There were so many unknowns. There were very few research papers. There were no organizations to guide me. Now thousands of papers come out every year on this topic. Diagnosis comes far swifter, often in its earliest stages. But there's more work to be done. Treatment isn't standardized. Recovery is still uncertain. And I can't tell you how many emails I've received from patients who ask questions like, will I ever return to myself again? What a question. But I can say in all certainty that I have returned, and in some ways probably better off than I was before. I am proof that all of your hard work in this room, that investigation into the black box of the brain can lead to massive improvements in patient lives. I'm a living example of how far we've come and how far we still have to go for so many. On behalf of all the patients living with brain illnesses, I want to thank you for your work. I salute you, and I would not be here without you. Let's raise some big money tonight for ABF so that we can get closer to living in a world where everyone with brain diseases gets the opportunity to be as lucky as I am. Thank you very much.
Well, that was truly inspiring, Susannah. I can tell you that your book did save lives. I told Susannah earlier tonight about, her flying around the world giving grand rounds. That book that she wrote, which, as you know, was made into a major motion picture that many of you probably saw, raised awareness in us as neurologists and allowed us. I told her about the story of a young woman whose story was very similar to hers, that allowed me to make a diagnosis in this young woman. And I'm sure many of the neurologists here tonight have made the diagnosis of autoimmune encephalitis, in no small part due to the awareness that she's raised. So congratulations again, Susannah. You're so deserving of that award. And by the way, I also told her that her new book that's out called The Great Pretender, the undercover mission that changed our understanding of madness, is on the top of my to-read list. So now I'd like to introduce two incredible leaders from the American Brain Foundation. Executive Director Jane Ransom, who is both my right and left hand, and Board Secretary Dr. Jackie French, to give an update on where we are headed as an organization. So let's welcome Jane and Dr. French to the stage.
Thank you. It's just wonderful to be here, and I want to thank everyone in this room and all the organizations and people you represent for supporting the American Brain Foundation. At the American Brain Foundation, we remain dedicated to our vision of life without brain disease. Only by funding life-changing research for the tens of millions of people affected by brain disease will we make this vision a reality. In the last year, the Foundation has been able to continue our relentless pursuit of improved treatments, prevention, and cures for brain diseases and disorders. Despite the challenges of the pandemic of 2020 and 2021, we were still able to bring researchers and donors together to invest in world-class research. We managed to raise over $6 million each year. With the support of the American Academy of Neurology and its members, and with the growing support of the public, we will continue to promote and invest research across the whole spectrum of brain diseases and disorders. In 2021, we also reached a lot more people than ever with messages about brain disease awareness. In fact, our social media following went up by 95%, website traffic by 92%, online donations by 43%. None of this would have been possible without our amazing team of staff, and it's a small team, so I want to just name them. My wonderful colleagues, Kim Howard, Samantha Ross, Julia Miglitz-Nelson, Liam Moore, Lisa Dahlberg, Charlotte Donahue, Andrea Nargan, and Emily Christian. And Emily gets a special call out tonight because she is our lead on this wonderful event tonight. This year, we're going to grant $5.4 million to fund research on brain disease and diseases and disorders. We couldn't have done this without your help, and in order to continue funding this critical research, we need your support. 2021 was a very productive year for the American Brain Foundation, and we are keeping the momentum going. This year, we're just thrilled to announce the launch of our 2022 Cure One, Cure Many Award. And here to discuss it and our upcoming projects is our board secretary, Dr. Jacqueline French.
Thank you, Jane. It is my pleasure and my honor to be able to tell you about what we are spending your money for and how wonderful it is. So along with the support of the Alzheimer's Association, the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research, the Mary E. Groff Charitable Trust, and the American Academy of Neurology, of course, the foundation established the first Cure One, Cure Many Award. And you've heard over and over again what our overarching concept is in research, that when we find biomarkers, when we look into certain degenerative diseases, we will not only find an answer for one, we will find things that help us with many, many diseases. This particular award was Cure One, Cure Many, was for $3 million, the largest ever granted by the foundation, and it will recognize research that aims to discover a biomarker for the early diagnosis of a disease that we already heard about tonight and how terrible it is, Lewy body dementia. We really need a biomarker for this, an early biomarker. We are optimistic this will help lead to more clarity and effective therapies for those living with the disease, and again, most importantly, early diagnosis. And we really do hope that if we find those biomarkers, they will also be relevant for other degenerative brain diseases such as Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and other forms of dementia. This year's recipients of the Cure One, Cure Many Award are Dr. Owen A. Ross, Dr. Pamela McLean, and Dr. Bradley Bove. And I believe that the leader of the team, Dr. Owen Ross, should be in the audience tonight. And we want to give him a round of applause. Doctor, can you stand up? You can't see out there, but. Oh, there you are. Okay, great. Congratulations. And obviously, we are not resting on our laurels, and we are now in the beginning stages of a second Cure One, Cure Many award. And notably considering our Susannah, our awardee tonight, who had an inflammatory disorder of the brain, and you heard how disruptive an inflammatory disorder in the brain can be. Our second Cure One, Cure Many award will focus on neuroinflammation, which is relevant to autoimmune brain disorders such as autoimmune encephalitis, to epilepsy, to multiple sclerosis, to dementias, and many other conditions of the brain. And you also heard about the other place that we spend our money, which is on the Next Generation Research Grant Program. And you also heard Dr. Higginbotham, eloquently stand here and tell you all why you need to support young people like her who are our future. And without them, we will not be able to accomplish the things in the future that we want to do. And I was fortunate enough 2 days ago to go to the presentation, the research breakfast, where I saw one after another amazing young person stand up and tell us what they are doing with their research awards, and it was just so incredible. So as you heard also, 3 out of 4 deserving people can't get these awards because we don't have enough money to fund them. But I'm sure after tonight, that will not be the case because we will be able to fund all of them. So this year, the American Brain Foundation supported 31 of the best and brightest early career researchers, 18 of which came from our 2022 class of recipients. We do this in collaboration with our founder and research partner, of course, the American Academy of Neurology. And we really, really need to increase the number of awards that are available. With the support of our donors, we are helping long-term careers for the next generation of clinical neuroscience researchers. And this year, we will strive to inspire even more people to get involved. And we will continue to reach supporters, as you heard from Jane, through social media engagement, webinars where we will tell people what this research is about and how it is helping people, and live streaming events that celebrate a future without brain disease. And together, hopefully, we can outsmart brain disease for the future. Thank you so much.
Great progress. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Dr. French. It's remarkable how far we've come in a fairly short period of time, and the fact that we're going to be giving over $6 million in research this year is just fantastic. Before we jump into our next segment, I just want to remind you that your contributions make research funding available for just a broad array of different neurological diseases. And you've seen these young 18 people flash on your screen here. They're studying diseases from ALS to Parkinson's disease to frontotemporal dementia to Lewy bodies disease, Alzheimer's disease, and so on, including multiple sclerosis, which brings me to our next award. In recent years, scientists around the country have broadened our understanding of diseases like multiple sclerosis. And thanks to new insights into diagnostics and disease progression, we've made breakthroughs that have really changed people's lives. So Dr. Stephen Hauser, who is the director of the Weill Institute at UCSF, has really done some amazing breakthrough research over the past 30-plus years. He's elucidated the genetic basis, the immune mechanisms, and teed up treatment targets for this disease. And he's really, his research has transformed autoimmune neurology in general, but multiple sclerosis in particular. And that remarkable body of work over several decades has led to the development of B-cell therapies for multiple sclerosis patients, representing a powerful new approach to the treatment of all forms of MS, but progressive MS in particular. It's actually the first approved therapy for progressive multiple sclerosis. And now over 200,000 patients around the world have been treated because of his research. In addition to tonight's award for Dr. Hauser, I'm pleased to announce here for the first time that the American Brain Foundation is building an endowed fund to support a new Stephen L. Hauser Clinical Research Training Scholarship in multiple sclerosis to be given in perpetuity. So I now want to call up to the stage someone with firsthand knowledge of Dr. Hauser's research, who's been a beneficiary of that research, Justine Fedak. Justine, welcome. I'm so glad you could be here. We're looking forward to your comments.
Well, it's my absolute pleasure to be here for a variety of reasons. First of all, I absolutely love neurologists. I think neurologists are my favorite doctors. I think they're very special, and I think this is the right room to say that, and I say that often when I speak, but I think this is the room to actually make that statement. But Dr. Hauser, for the reasons you just heard, is very special. Today he's special for all of us, but he's extremely special to me. And I'm going to just step away from the podium because I just want to draw your attention to one thing that I'm wearing. I know that I'm taking this conference at a very different place right now. Now, I tried to find the absolute highest heels that were possible to purchase, and I think I've probably succeeded. Most of the women in the room are probably wondering. And the reason I did that was to illustrate that many people have seen me battle MS for 20 years. And many of those people that have seen me in the last 18 months have said, "You're a medical miracle." But what I really am is evidence of the 40+ years of devotion, dedication, passion, and tireless commitment of Dr. Hauser. When I met Dr. Hauser in 2013, I was full of fear. I had watched my body betray itself. MS is a very random and ridiculous disease. You never know what you're going to get. I was in the C-suite in my career, had a young child, and had very difficult challenges, the standard things you'd have with MS, and my mobility was very weakened. I was walking with a cane. There's absolutely nothing wrong with walking with a mobility device, and that was my best friend for many years. But when you can do something and be treated and improve different aspects of your life, whether those are mental, physical, or spiritual, why wouldn't you? And in that moment when I went to UCSF, and I live in Chicago, so I was desperate enough that I was fortunate to be put in touch with him, that I got on a plane, which was very difficult. And when I got there, I had not been on treatment that had worked. I had given up on treatment. But Dr. Hauser looked at me with what is not typical that you'd see from a medical professional. He looked at me with loving kindness. And what he said is, "Justine, I've dedicated my life in the pursuit of finding a cure for MS, and I believe in our lifetime we will." And he explained to me about his research. He talked to me as one intelligent person to another. He saw me. He looked into my eyes, and he convinced me that if he could have me take this treatment, there would be possibility. And what he gave me in that moment is hope. And that's exactly what I needed. And with every infusion, and he knows this, I thought of him, and I believed that those B cells that were leaving my body, I actually secretly believed that I was going to turn into the Punisher or a superhero, or be a Marvel comic hero. So he doesn't know that part, but that is the truth. But I believed with every one of those infusions, his energy, his passion, his commitment filled my body. And he made me believe I would walk without a cane one day, that I could put heels back on. He didn't promise me that, but he gave me the hope and possibility. And so I come here in front of you tonight with a quote that I wanted to share, and it's Albert Schweitzer, and it reminds me so much of Dr. Hauser. It's supposed to be a secret, but I'll tell you anyway. We doctors do nothing. We only help and encourage the doctor within. It is my absolute pleasure to present Dr. Hauser with this award, the Scientific Breakthrough Award, for his reverence for life, for his living the best possible life and making mine that much more possible, his true belief in his patients and their ability to heal, his dedication and passion that fuels me, hopefully all of you, and your generosity tonight. It's my absolute privilege, Dr. Hauser, to present this to you. Turn it this way. I think we have to turn first. I hope you got my shoes in that.
My goodness. Thank you, Justine, and thank you, David. I'm overwhelmed and very deeply grateful. I'm also acknowledging this wonderful award on behalf of so many other people who walked the walk along with me these many years, colleagues in medicine and in science who made all of this possible. And also the thousands of patients who trusted us and who courageously committed to joining clinical trials, without which progress would not be possible. It is really an amazing time in medicine and science. When I think about the path of discovery, science rarely goes in a straight line. There are always turns. And new ideas need to be nurtured, tested, often revised. That was certainly the case in the development of B-cell therapy for MS. But when I try to remember the key elements of what made it successful, what was the secret sauce, there were three things. First, foundations and philanthropists who were committed to the cause and willing to support early, high-risk, high-reward research. Early work, as you heard from Dr. Higginbotham, would never happen from traditional funding sources. These new ideas need to be developed with private support. Second, physician scientists, great young people who are deeply trained in both medicine and science and who are walking the walk between the two worlds every day. This is where the rubber meets the road, when the ideas in the laboratory are tested at the bedside, and insights at the bedside are brought back to change course in the laboratory and how the work will be pursued. It's this back and forth that's essential. As you know, physician scientists are still an endangered species, and we need to do much more to support those young people. And third, passionate leaders in industry who took very high-risk gambles to make this happen. And as was said by one CEO who made this effort happen, if we don't do this, what are we in business for anyway? And this was after all of the experts advised that this was biologically implausible and unlikely to succeed. The ties between academia and industry have to be strengthened. We need to break down those silos. Our skills are so synergistic. As we all know, in the United States, we currently spend less than 5% of the healthcare budget on biomedical research. For a tech company in Seattle or a company in Silicon Valley or anywhere else, if they spent 5% of their budget on R&D, they'd be out of business very quickly. But we tolerate this. But if the US is going to remain a leader in discovery, and if, more importantly, we're going to speed the development of new treatments for the 1 billion people each year who develop a brain disease, we have to do more. And I'm sure that we're going to, because we're really on the verge of incredible things. Multiple sclerosis is an example, but there are others in stroke, migraine, childhood muscle diseases, and marvelous new technologies in gene and cell therapy and targeted therapies that were unimaginable just a few years ago. I've never been more optimistic about the future. So I thank the American Brain Foundation for all of this, and especially for their advocacy in getting out the word about the importance and also the payoff of brain disease research. Thank you all very, very much.
Well, you know, Dr. Hauser, it's just a tremendous sense of pride and honor to have you here tonight. You're so deserving and worthy of this award. I cannot think of anybody better, so congratulations. And I was asking Justine how I pronounced her last name. Was it Fedak? Was it Fedak? And she said, look, just call me Justine. Like, just think Madonna, Oprah. So from now on, I will always remember you as just Justine. You're Justine. So at the core of everything we do are the people impacted by brain diseases and disorders, as you've seen here tonight, and their stories documenting their experiences and their struggles inspire us to continue searching for treatments, preventions, and cures. Now, I'd like to welcome a remarkable advocate and an even more remarkable person, Mr. Ben Lenail. Ben is on our board of directors at the American Brain Foundation, and he is the vice chair of the American Brain Foundation. And I want to invite Ben up to talk about his personal experience with brain disease. Ben?
I am not wearing Justine's high heels. Well, I'm Ben Lenail. I'm based in Palo Alto, California, and I'm the vice chair of the American Brain Foundation. And I want to thank you, friends of the foundation, for your presence, your energy, and your support tonight. And I think the evening is going very well. Nobody has been slapped on stage thus far. And my story, like Justine, is one of lived experience with a central nervous system disease. So about 15 years ago, after I turned 40, I started experiencing symptoms of a neurological nature, and I went through a 2-year-long diagnostic odyssey as my symptoms progressed, and finally was diagnosed with X-linked adrenoleukodystrophy, or XALD, which is a rare genetic neurodegenerative disease that some of you may remember from the 1992 movie Lorenzo's Oil, which was the true story of a young boy affected by ALD. And after the initial shock and awe of this devastating diagnosis, really I was dévasté, as we would say in French. I kind of remobilized myself and thought about the future, that life as I knew it was over, and I needed to come up with a new definition of myself. I was going to make a lot of new friends, many, of course, tied to my disease, patients, clinicians, researchers, And I was going to learn a lot of new things, and I was hungry for knowledge. And then I learned that I should never be afraid or ashamed to ask for help under all its forms. And tonight we're going to see a video of people like me, people who live with CNS disease. We call it stories of impact. And they are the kinds of stories that lead to an active role, an engaged role, and ultimately advocacy on behalf of those living with brain disease.
There's no ability to explain to people what it's like to lose the person that is sitting right next to you.
We will have an experience and Matt won't really remember it. I have to carry the memory of it and it's just not there for him.
I'm exhausted all day long and he begs to play and I just can't play. He doesn't understand.
When somebody's brain is not functioning correctly, it impacts everything in their life. It's a very hopeless place to be in as a person. I never understood that until I was in it myself.
She would call me on the phone crying and say, "I don't know where I am." She was having hallucinations.
It was hard for me to accept that my perception of things was different than what was really happening. The Michelle that I used to be doesn't exist anymore.
I had just started my career and I had a 2-year-old. I had no idea what to do. There was this little child that I couldn't pick up, I couldn't hold. You feel like your life is never gonna be the same again, and honestly, it's not.
I am a photographer, so my ability to see things, recognize them is important. I have lost the vision on my whole left peripheral. But I think the biggest loss is my relationship to my family. They saw me as the dad and strong and not damaged. Now they can't count on me as much.
There was this sense that the person that we knew, to a certain extent, died on that operating table.
Everything about my mother changed. From her smile to her ability to have a conversation, and it looks like her eyes are empty. I can feel it radiating that she is not comfortable, that she's not okay, and all I want to do is help calm her brain. And it's devastating to have the one you love right there, and you can't even talk to her and tell her about your day. It's just, she's gone.
We have our rough days, we have our bad days. Everyone does, but there's hope and there's joy.
It is the joy in the little things. It's the joy in, oh my gosh, she remembered this. Or she's saying these silly, funny things now that she never said before. Mom, do you love me? I love you. Give me a hug, Mom. People are more intertwined in the world of brain disease than they realize. By understanding how diseases work, how we can maybe prevent them, we can improve the quality of life of millions of people.
So for me, advocacy started by getting organized and really making contact with two marvelous neurologists, Florian Eichler at Mass General and Keith Van Haren at Stanford, building a relationship with them. And a couple years later, starting a foundation, ALD Connect, focused on our disease. And first, you have to build the infrastructure that's missing. So obvious things like a registry, a better understanding of natural history, biomarkers, start doing research on the cellular mechanisms of the disease using single cell analysis, omics, organoids, and ultimately get the biotech industry interested. And that means presenting them with a community that's organized, a community that has a voice that expresses clearly its hunger for treatments, and giving them a sort of clinical trial in a box where that can accelerate their deployment. And the other thing to keep in perspective is being in the neighborhood of Stanford, became very involved with Stanford Neurology, got very interested in some of their research, and then also partnered with UCSF, with some of the institute at MIT. And what fascinated me were the commonalities in these neurological conditions, kind of the same mechanisms in ALS, in multiple sclerosis, in Huntington's, in dementia, in my disease, you know, kind of the neuroinflammation, the mitochondrial dysfunction, the patterns of accelerated aging. And I think we have to be in it for the long game. We have to really fund that research. And that's what led me to the American Brain Foundation, is that concept of, you know, curing one and curing many. And so I'm, like many others tonight, I'm very hopeful, very optimistic. The people who know me know my personal hero is President Franklin Roosevelt, and FDR never gave up hope and optimism, and surmounted his disease to literally save the world. So I think I'm rooting for this, and I thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben. Let's give Ben another big round of applause. Thank you for sharing your story. Tonight we have heard some incredible stories from people living with brain disease. Treatments, preventions, cures that turn lives around. They all start with research. In fact, we have only just scratched the surface. 3 out of 4, we've been hearing that statistic. 3 out of 4 brain disease research applications go unfunded. But tonight, we want to take steps to improve that ratio, to improve that number. But we can't do it without each of you. Tonight, together, as a community, we can make a difference. And in fact, before we even began, we have so many of our friends online right now, watching and sharing with us. We wish you were here. We hope you can be here with us next year. But one of those people, who's online, wanted to start us off tonight with a very special challenge. Our friend, Alan Tisch, came forth with a challenge tonight. He said, I will match the first $100,000 we raise in this room tonight, dollar for dollar. Let's give him a big round of applause so he can hear you. Thank you, Alan. And in fact, another friend of ours who could not be here tonight, has a special message he wanted to share as we begin this moment.
Hello to my favorite people who fight day in and day out against brain disease. I miss being with you this year. As a migraine sufferer, as the friend of someone who died of Lewy body dementia, I know that there's only one way to defeat these horrible diseases, and that's through research. And that's why I love the American Brain Foundation, its research mission, and its vision of life without brain disease. It is so critical that we support the American Brain Foundation because when we do, we get closer to better treatments, prevention, and cures.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim. I know he's watching online right now. In fact, one of the things that he wanted to do was also get us started tonight. And he has stepped forward to get us started with a $25,000 donation. Wow. Let's give him a big round of applause. Make sure he can hear you online. Thank you, Jim, so very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now to us. Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to join him at that first level and can give $25,000 tonight and join him? If so, we'll ask you hold your number up in the air. Is there anyone tonight at the $25,000 level? Yes, right here, Mr. Jim Essey, number 292. Thank you very much, sir. That's another one at $25,000. That's incredible. Thank you, sir. Anyone else tonight at $25,000? Anyone else? Let's give them both a huge round of applause for getting us started here tonight. That's truly incredible. Thank you. We're going to move to our next level. It's the $10,000 level. If you can give at the $10,000 level, we'd love to see your hand in the air. I want to thank you for your... Ben, you were just up here. Ben, you want to give? Thank you. Number 56, $10,000. Right there. Anyone else tonight at $10,000? Number 121, thank you so very much, Andy. I appreciate it so much. Another at $10,000. Anyone else tonight at $10,000? We are doing amazing work. Let's give them both a big round of applause. Thank you so very much for that awesome kickstart. If you're online and you want to donate tonight, you can join us as well. You right around your video, somewhere above, below, around, there's a donate button. You hit that button, and you can also be joining us as we continue on tonight. Now, our next level tonight is the $5,000 level. If you can give it this level, we'd love to see your hand in the air. I want to thank you for helping us out here tonight. Who here tonight could give at the $5,000 number, right up here, number 116? Thank you so very much. Jane, you're going to give as well. That's another one at $5,000. Give them both a big round of applause at $5,000. Number 141, right up here. Thank you. And number 196, thank you so very much. Number 233, give them a big round of applause in the back at $5,000. Thank you so very much, sir. Anyone, number 307, thank you, Dr. Sacco. Let's give him a big round of applause. Another one at $5,000. Wow, we are doing amazing work. And remember, folks, every one of those donations right now is being doubled up to $100,000. We're going to move on to our next level. It's the $2,500 level. If you can give it this level, we'd love to see your hand in the air. And we want to recognize you and thank you from the bottom of our hearts for giving tonight. Number 346, thank you, Dr. French, right there. Number 364. That was bidder number 364. Anyone else tonight at $2,500? Number 10, right up here. Give them a big round of applause. And number 375, thank you, at $2,500. Anyone else tonight at $2,500? Anyone else? Last call at $2,500. And actually, I'm looking here with kind of my confidence monitor that I go through here. David Eagleman, our good friend, right there, ladies and gentlemen, he just gave it $2,500. Let's give him a big round of applause at $2,500, an online donation. That's outstanding. Thank you. For those of you online, you absolutely can join us tonight at any level. Anyone else at $2,500? Anyone else at $2,500? Give yourselves a big round of applause. We're doing amazing work here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to our next level. It's the $1,000 level. If you can give it this level, we'd love to see your hand in the air. We'd love to recognize you for your donation. Number 190 gets us started. Give them a big round of applause. And number 1, thank you. Number 81 as well, thank you so very much. And number 59, thank you, at $1,000. Number 122 and number 61, give them both a big round of applause. Number 291, thank you very much. At $1,000, number 337, thank you as well at $1,000. Is there anyone else tonight at $1,000? Anyone else? Number 394, thank you very much, sir, right there. Outstanding. In fact, we've got a couple more people online. Dan Gasby, we've got Dr. Francis Jensen and Dr. Birch Griggs and Rosalind Griggs. Let's give them all a big round of applause for joining us online. That is so amazing. Thank you to all of you watching at home and continuing to give. That is so awesome to see. Is there anyone else at our $1,000 level? All right, let's give all of our donors so far a big round of applause for all they're doing here tonight. Truly incredible work. We're going to move on to our next level. It's the $500 level. If you can give at this level, we'd love to see your hand in the air. Who can give tonight at number 58 gets us started, as well as number 224. Thank you. Number 63. Thank you. And number 412. Let's give them a big round of applause. Number 230 and number 401. Give them both a big round of applause. Number 232, thank you, and number 416, thank you. At $500, number 283, thank you very much. Anyone else at $500 tonight? Anyone else at $500? Let's give all of our $500. Oh, we got one back there, number 436, thank you, number 436 at $500. Truly incredible to see. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to our next level. It's the $250 level. If you can give at this level, we'd love to see your hand in the air. Who can give tonight? Yes, number 16 right there at $250, and number 18. Let's give them both a big round of applause. That's awesome. Anyone else in it? We got another one. Number 446 and number 12. Thank you. Number 417 and number 124. Give them a big round of applause. Number 408, thank you. And number, I think I got 117, but I'm going to call it out again just in case. Thank you very much. Number 405 and number 411, give them a big round of applause. Number 304, thank you. And number 21, right up the middle, thank you, at $250. Anyone else? Anyone else at number 154, thank you, and number 192. Give them both a big round of applause at $250 tonight. Anyone else at $250? Number 83 over here, let's give them a big round of applause. We're still getting those donations in, and we really appreciate it. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move to our final level. If for some reason you did not, you want to give one more time, you can. If you haven't yet had a chance to give, we're going to have that last level, our $100 level. But before we do that, I want to let you know, for all of you online, we love seeing your donations come in as well. You can continue to give online. There's a QR code as well that you're seeing that you're able to give in that way. So please keep those donations coming in. But ladies and gentlemen, our final level tonight is the $100 level. Let's see some hands in the air. Number 227, thank you. Let's give them a big round of applause in the back corner there at $100. Number 296 and number 218, thank you. Number 443 and number 228. Give them both a big round of applause. Over here we got 140 and 208, thank you. We've got 145 and 361, thank you. Number 201 as well as 132. Give them both a big round of applause. Number 439, thank you, at $100. Anyone else at 100? Number 62, thank you. Number 71 as well. And number 314, thank you. Number 438 as well. Let's give them all a big round of applause at $100. Anyone else tonight at $100? Ladies and gentlemen, it is truly incredible what we are doing here tonight. We continue to work very hard to help fund research. And we can't do it without each of you. So thank you for that. Now, if for some reason I did not ask for the level you want to give, maybe you want to give more or less or something in between, or perhaps you prefer to make your gifts anonymously. Maybe holding your hand up in front of everybody is not the way you choose to make your gifts. We completely understand. I believe there's a QR code you can give on your tables. You're able to do that, or you can see them at the checkout. Every dollar makes a difference, and you have made a real difference here tonight. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. Thank you. Dr. Dodick, I believe the stage is yours.
Great job, Andy. Actually, you can keep the stage if you'd like. You're doing such a good job there. Well, I want to thank everybody who's given tonight so generously, and I want to thank everybody online who's given. Alan Tisch, thank you so much for your generous gift. And Jim Kramer, thank you so much. You got off easy this year. Jim Kramer actually was the MC for this gala for the last 2 years. We had a serious downgrade in MC this year, if you haven't noticed. but we'll get you again next year, Jim. So our next award honors people known for advancing public awareness, research, and understanding of neurological diseases. Some of the former honorees of this particular award have been people like Michael J. Fox, Dame Julie Andrews, Walter Mondale, Amelia Clark, Sidney Crosby, Anne Romney, and many others. Tonight, we're here to recognize two people who started a foundation known as Hilarity for Charity. Hilarity for Charity is a nonprofit whose mission is to support families who are impacted by Alzheimer's disease today. In addition to that, to activate the next generation of advocates, and to advocate and be a leader for brain health research education. So Hilarity for Charity, in a very short period of time, has brought new generations of Americans into the movement against Alzheimer's disease, and in those few short years have raised more than $17 million and used it to provide more than 375,000 hours of in-home care relief for families affected by Alzheimer's disease. So here to introduce the Public Leadership in Neurology Award is Dr. Richard Isaacson. Dr. Isaacson is a friend and colleague. He's internationally renowned in Alzheimer's disease as both a researcher and an advocate. He's the director of the Alzheimer's Prevention Clinic and the Center for Brain Health at Florida Atlantic University. He is at the forefront of innovative technology and optimizing patient care, assessing Alzheimer's disease risk, and applying early intervention strategies. And his research has shown that a precision medicine approach in real-world clinical practice can and does make a very important difference in improving cognitive function and in reducing risk of dementia in individuals at risk for Alzheimer's disease. So it's a great pleasure to have Dr. Richard Isaacson here to present the Public Leadership Award from the American Brain Foundation. Richard.
Good evening. So the last time I actually prepared a speech was junior year of high school. I was running as student council secretary. And so I said, this was a big event. Like, look, I can't, like, I'm here. David Dodick just announced me. What's going on, right? So I sat down at my computer a couple weeks ago and I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I said, wait a minute. I said, the last time I did this, I was a member of Comac High School. And I kind of stopped because I said, Comac High School, what does that make me think of? It makes me think of Lauren's mom and Lauren's Uncle Joel. And I've really had an amazing privilege and pleasure, Lauren, getting to know your family. Adele and Joel both went to my high school. We didn't know each other at the time. I still remember meeting Lauren on the street of New York City, and the first time she met me, she says, "You're Dr. Isaacson. Here, take my blood." I decided not to write a speech because, I got to read from the script and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to talk because it's been a privilege and a pleasure to meet you and your family. And what it's been more special is we've talked a lot about tonight about brain disease and curing brain disease and being free from brain disease. But what we're going to need to do to get there is to talk about brain health. And what Lauren and Seth have been able to do through courage, taking something that's sad, if you don't laugh, you're going to cry. Taking something sad, because I have 4 family members with the disease. Lauren, I've lost count. You have a lot. But one day we're going to have a world without Alzheimer's disease. We're going to do it through early intervention. We're going to do it through biomarkers. And we have to do it by advancing the conversation and starting young and starting early. And Lauren and Seth have done that. They've provided care, hundreds of thousands of hours of respite care to families that are in need. That's a lot. They've raised lots of money, and that's really great. But what they've done is something different. They focused on brain health for younger generations. Okay? Teens, college students, people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. Alzheimer's disease and other dementias start in the brain decades before the first symptom of memory loss begins. And who's starting that conversation? Lauren and Seth. So Lauren, I'm deeply appreciative that you're here. It's been a privilege to know you. More than that, it's been really fun to get to play with Zelda, your King Charles Cavalier Spaniel. I have two myself. So I'd like to announce, Lauren, come on up, the Public Service Award, Leadership Award, Neurology Award, to Lauren Miller Rogen and Seth Rogen. Okay, so Seth couldn't be here tonight. He's actually outside in the back. No, I'm sorry. I don't want to get in trouble. So he recorded something, so I'd love to have that play now.
Hi, I'm Seth Rogen, and I'm very sorry I can't be there tonight, but I want to thank my wife Lauren for being there to accept this award on behalf of HFC. If you are surprised I am winning an award that has something to do with brain health, so am I, but that's where we are. HFC and the American Brain Foundation do share a goal in changing the trajectory of Alzheimer's and dementia, and that's why these collaborations are so important and why I'm so grateful for this. Thank you all for being there tonight, and thank you for this wonderful honor.
Okay, so with that, I'd like to turn the floor over to Lauren Miller Rogen, but first present her.
Thank you. Isn't Seth cute? I'm so honored to be here to accept this award, and it's especially an honor to receive it from Dr. Isaacson. You've been such an incredible advisor to me and my family, and of course to HFC, and we're all just so grateful, so thank you. And to the American Brain Foundation, thank you so much for this recognition, and of course for your incredible efforts. Brain health research gives us hope that one day we may inhabit a world without Alzheimer's, without Parkinson's, without MS. It's a world that I certainly would love to live in, but if we can't inhabit it ourselves, I am so proud to support the possibility, let's say hopefully the inevitability of that future. And Seth and I founded HFC with that future in mind. My mom, Adele, as Dr. Isaacson mentioned, was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's when she was 55. Seth and I were 24 and 25. I won't say which one of us is older, but one of us is. And either way, we weren't prepared to be caregivers at that time, or even really take care of ourselves much in the midst of a crisis like that. And I'll never forget finally finding the courage to attend a support group, only to find that I was the youngest participant by decades, and the only one who wasn't caring for a spouse or an elderly parent. There felt like there was no place for me or my grief or my unique set of challenges as a young caregiver, much younger than I am now. And so we channeled our heartbreak and our fury into what we knew best, show business. We hosted variety shows, adult proms, costume parties. We made every effort we could to create spaces for young people like us to, as we say, kick Alzheimer's in the Balzheimers. It's been 10 years now, which is just wild, and I am truly so proud and honestly really amazed to how much HFC has grown up to a point, of course, because we use words like Balzheimer's. But we still throw a fabulous party, but today we also lead a national effort to educate young people about brain health. We fund the latest technology and prevention-focused research and advocate for public policy. We reach 500,000 people a year through our events, our social media, our press appearances. We recently launched HFC Universe, as previously mentioned, which is a comprehensive digital platform featuring brain health and disease prevention curricula for high school and college students, which is taught by celebrities, like my husband, based on the groundbreaking research of the one and only, of course, as you just heard from, Dr. Richard Isaacson. And as you've heard a few times, we have a program in which we have granted close to 400,000 hours of relief to caregivers, people who were just like us, who would love to live in a cure-filled future, but need help right now and today. So we are on a mission to accelerate progress in Alzheimer's care and prevention and support with science and innovation, all while maintaining our signature reverence, or at least we try. We are so honored to join the American Brain Foundation on your mission to cure one, cure many. To everyone here tonight, thank you so much for being on this journey with us. Thank you for supporting the ABF and HFC and any other brain three-letter word organization. I hope you will be generous this evening, as of course you just were, but continue to be, and for as long as it takes us to kick brain disease in the you-know-what. So thank you so much for having me. This is truly an honor. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
That was awesome, Lauren. Seth and Lauren, all I can say is way to go, eh? That's my homage to a fellow Canadian citizen, and Lauren, now you're an honorary Canadian by marriage, so thank you. Remarkable what you're doing, and it's rather prophetic, actually, that you're leading the charge to optimize brain health in young people, because, you know, Ron Peterson is doing this now with AARP, and of course through his own work. And, you know, the World Health Organization is doubling down this year with their Intersectoral Global Action Plan, where they're coming together in May, and the World Health Assembly will pass a resolution optimizing brain health. And the World Federation of Neurology this year has announced that World Brain Day this year is dedicated to brain health. So you've led the charge. You were there early. Congratulations and thank you. Before we move to our next award presentation, I'd like to take a moment to offer again, a really big thank you to the staff of the American Brain Foundation and their incredible dedication and hard work, led by Emily Christian, as you heard Jane mention tonight, but all of them, everyone has pitched in, and it's a small group, but they've done a remarkable job here tonight. And so wherever they are, I would like them to stand so that we can all recognize and applaud them. So we now turn our attention to the Potamkin Prize for research in PICS, Alzheimer's disease, and related diseases and dementias. This award is given by the American Academy of Neurology with funding from the American Brain Foundation through generous philanthropy of the Potamkin family. This award has been known as the Nobel Prize for Alzheimer's Research, and several people here tonight have actually won this award. And it's been instrumental in advancing our understanding of Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. So tonight we have with us Andi Potamkin, the granddaughter of Luba Potamkin, for whom the Potamkin Prize is named. Andi and her family have done amazing work in honoring Luba and helping other families impacted by brain disease, and in particular Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. So I'd like to welcome Andi Potamkin up to the stage here. Andi, welcome.
Hello. As a philanthropist, you often think about the word impact. How do you make sure that resources are getting to the right place, to the right people who will use them well? The American Brain Foundation is the link between what we want to do and how we do it, between a donation and an impact. So I want to express my immense gratitude to the American Brain Foundation for your stewardship and your guidance in connecting philanthropists with scientists. We literally couldn't do it without you. My grandfather, Victor, opened our first car dealership in 1954, but it was my grandmother, Luba, who made the iconic commercials that people fell in love with. She was glamorous and elegant, but by the time she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, she was really sick, and much wasn't known about the disease at the time. So my family started this prize. I don't know if they realized when they started it that the honor would be ours, to be connected in any facet with such important work. And now, thanks to scientists like Dr. Vladimir Hachinski, New discoveries are happening every day. And as you all know, a discovery in one area of brain research benefits many others. Dr. Hachinski's clarification between Alzheimer's and dementia has opened the door to modern dementia research. I had the pleasure of listening to him present to his colleagues yesterday, and I will say this. Dr. Hachinski loves people. He loves science, and he has an optimistic outlook on applying his findings to the community at large, as do I. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Hachinski's acceptance video.
Good evening. Thank you very much for that very kind introduction. I'm Vladimir Hachinski. I'm a neurologist and distinguished university professor at Western University in London, Canada. Our team has shown that even though the number of cases of dementia is increasing, the number per thousand is actually decreasing. So now we're looking at all relevant factors, environmental, socioeconomic, and individual risk and protective factors, to find out what is it that we're doing right. In our research, we hope to show that we already are preventing dementia, but how are we doing it? And this could be widely applicable because it's already happening. The 2022 Potamkin Prize is a wonderful platform to highlight this new approach. And my colleagues, my patients, my students, and I are immensely grateful to the Potamkin family for this great privilege. We thank the American Brain Foundation, the American Academy of Neurology, and in particular, the Potamkin family, for allowing us this great privilege and the opportunity to promote our work. We also thank the viewers for sharing this splendid occasion with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hachinski. Please stand and allow us to congratulate you.
Thank you, Andy, and thanks to you and the Potamkin family for your generous support of brain disease research over many, many years. And congratulations, Dr. Hachinski. As a fellow Canadian and vascular neurologist, you've been an inspiration to me for a very long time. In fact, it was you and John Norris who helped to establish the world's first successful stroke unit at Sunnybrook Hospital in Toronto. And it was that stroke unit that helped cement stroke units as a standard of care for patients with stroke, and have clearly made a massive difference in the lives of millions of people. And you may not know this, but 1995, I was doing my fellowship at the University of Toronto at Sunnybrook, and while you and John were running around the world setting up other stroke units, I was trying to hold down the fort, seeing your patients in that unit. You're welcome. So our last award of the night is the Sheila Essey Award for ALS Research. And this award recognizes individuals who have made the most significant research contributions in the search for the cause, prevention of, and cure for ALS. And here to introduce the Sheila Essey Award for ALS Research is Jim Essey. Jim is a member of the American Brain Foundation's Board of Directors, and he's our treasurer. And I'm so grateful to Jim for his expertise and his financial stewardship of the American Brain Foundation. He makes financial spreadsheets and strategy even understandable to people like me. So Jim, thank you for all you do for the foundation. And Jim and his family have been obviously deeply affected by brain disease and understand better than anyone the importance of brain disease research and funding the most innovative research. So Jim, please.
Last award of the evening. Well, I want to thank the ABF for offering up the Commitment to Cares dinner for tonight's award. It's a terrific venue, and I want to thank all of you in the audience for sticking with this, and especially our viewers at home in the East Coast, where right now it's about midnight. So thank you for staying up late for ABF. My mother, Sheila, was diagnosed with ALS in 1994. My father, Richard, who died at 97 in 2020, was very disappointed to learn how little was known about the disease and how no treatment options were available. And so in 1996, he established the Sheila Essey Award for ALS Research jointly with the AAN and the ALS Association and its Golden West chapter, which my dad co-founded and is now one of ALS's most active chapters. The award is given annually from a pool of scientists from around the world in acknowledgement of groundbreaking research and advances. The understanding that advances the understanding of possible causes, treatments, and discovery of a cure for ALS. One of the major impetuses for this award is to share this groundbreaking research with as broad an audience as possible, to spur others to add on to those ideas, to drive us closer and closer to a cure. This year, Dr. Matthew Kiernan, professor and co-director of the Brain and Mind Center at the University of Sydney, has been selected to receive this prestigious honor, becoming the first Australian to win this award. Professor Kiernan and his research team found that ALS may begin in the motor cortex, that part of the brain where muscular activity is initiated. They discovered hyperexcitability in this area of the brain before symptoms of muscle wasting appear. This discovery has led to new treatment options which can be started earlier and have a greater chance of rescuing diseased nerve cells. For these and other achievements, along with my sister Tina, I'm delighted to present this year's Sheila Essey Award to Dr. Matthew Kiernan. Dr. Kiernan, I think, is on his way back to Australia, but he's recorded a short acceptance video. Here it is.
Thank you, and hello, everyone. I'm Professor Matthew Kiernan, the Bushell Chair of Neurology at the University of Sydney, co-director of the Brain and Mind Centre, and president of our Australian Brain Foundation. It's truly a great honour for me to receive the Sheila Essey Award for ALS Research. I'm a clinician scientist based here in Sydney, Australia, with my research group having specific focus on neurodegenerative disease. My research team has adapted the technique of transcranial magnetic stimulation to establish that hyperexcitability is an early feature of ALS. In fact, hyperexcitability develops before patients develop symptoms of ALS, before the disease has taken hold. The Essey Award will allow us to develop this technique and make it available for clinicians on a global scale. Separate to my research focus, I've been working with international colleagues to streamline the clinical definition of ALS. We recently established the Gold Coast criteria for ALS, which we hope will facilitate patient engagement and recruitment in clinical trials. In terms of leadership, I'm chair of the ALS Specialty Group for the World Federation of Neurology, and I recently initiated the Pan-Asian Consortium for the Treatment of ALS, which shows really the engagement of clinicians and patients in this geographical region to come up with better therapies for ALS. I would like to end by thanking the American Brain Foundation, the American Academy of Neurology, the ALS Association, and the Essey family for this incredible honour. It's great to receive this sort of recognition from my colleagues working in the field of neurology. I would like to thank each of you for attending tonight's event and for your support in improving outcomes for all patients diagnosed with diseases of the brain and mind. Thank you.
I think Dr. Kiernan may be joining the live stream tonight, so let's give him one more round of applause for this important honor. Thank you. David.
Thank you, Jim, and congratulations, Dr. Kiernan. Well, what an incredible night this has been. Before we say goodbye, listen, I just want to thank everybody who's streaming online tonight and for their donations. Mom and Dad, 1 o'clock in the morning in Nova Scotia, I hope you've given generously tonight. Paula, Sydney, and Sampson in Manhattan, I hope you've all made your donations. I really want to thank everybody who's made tonight so wonderful. I'm pleased to announce that tonight we've raised a total of $855,189. So this completely blows away and shatters every record in the 30-year history of this organization. So thank you all very much. We've never been able to raise this much money in one night. Our community is truly making a difference in the fight against brain disease. If you have it in your hearts to make a contribution and you haven't done so already, now's the time. Whether it's $10, $50, $100, it doesn't matter. Every dollar counts. Thank you all very much for being here tonight. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you for supporting the American Brain Foundation. Good night, everyone.